Hi, I'm Sienna. Most people look at me and see a struggling office worker. At least that's what my family thinks. Little do they know I'm actually a senior corporate attorney at Blackwell and Hayes, one of the top firms in Boston. You're seriously not going to tell them again? Mia was sprawled across my couch, wine glass in hand. She's been my best friend since law school and the only person who truly gets why I've kept my success hidden. Would they even believe me at this point? They've spent 30 years convincing themselves I'm a failure. But you're literally about to make partner. How many more achievements will you hide? I sighed, remembering my father Richard's voice when I got my first A+ in high school. Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Or my mother Diana at my college graduation. Law school? Really? You'll drop out by semester 2. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother Ryan. Don't forget dinner Sunday. Mom's making her famous pot roast. Ryan had always been the golden child. Star athlete, decent grades, married his high school sweetheart. He followed our parents' lead, treating me like the family disappointment. I've got a meeting with Judge Collins before the dinner, I told Mia. She wants to discuss the partnership details. Eleanor Collins had been my mentor since I clerked for her right after law school. She saw something in me my parents never did. Will she be there when you finally drop the bomb on your family? No, but her recommendation letter will be. I pulled out a folder from my briefcase. Along with my partnership offer, the deed to their vacation house, and records of the mortgage payments I've been making on their behalf for 2 years. Mia sat up straight. Holy shit, you've been paying their mortgage? Dad's business has been failing. They don't know I know. They've been pretending everything's fine while borrowing against the house. And they still treat you like garbage. Last month, your mom asked if you'd been fired yet. I remembered Diana's exact words. That little receptionist job still keeping you? Or have they finally noticed you're not worth the minimum wage? My phone buzzed again. A formal text invitation to Sunday dinner from my mother. The usual monthly torture session? Mia asked. This one will be different. I'm done being their emotional punching bag. I've prepared everything. Bank statements, property records, even screenshots of the emails where they mock me to relatives. What made you finally decide to do this? I opened my laptop and showed her an email from my father to my uncle. Sienna's coming to dinner again. Prepare for another sad update from the land of mediocrity. That's it. I'm done. This Sunday, they'll learn exactly who I am. I carefully arranged the documents in a leather portfolio. I wonder how it'll feel when they realize the useless daughter has been keeping their privileged lives afloat. Mia raised her glass. To the look on their faces when they find out who you really are. I clinked my glass against hers. Sunday can't come soon enough. I arrived at my parents' colonial-style house clutching my leather portfolio. Sunday dinner, the monthly ritual of disappointment. I took a deep breath before ringing the doorbell. Look who finally made it. Diana opened the door, scanning me from head to toe. Couldn't you have worn something nicer? That outfit screams discount rack. I glanced down at my $800 blazer and tailored pants. Nice to see you too, Mom. The living room smelled like pot roast and judgment. Ryan was already there, sitting on the couch with a woman I'd never met. Sienna, this is Vanessa, my new girlfriend. Ryan didn't bother getting up. Hi, nice to meet you. Vanessa extended her hand with a warm smile that seemed out of place in this house. Ryan has told me so much about you. All terrible, I'm sure. Don't be dramatic. Richard emerged from the kitchen, drink in hand. We only tell the truth about you, nothing more. We moved to the dining room where Diana had set the table with her special occasion china. Vanessa works at Boston General. She's on track to become head nurse in her department. Diana beamed. Such an achievement for someone only 30. That's wonderful, I said genuinely. Unlike some people who can't seem to move beyond answering phones. Diana passed the mashed potatoes with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Vanessa looked confused. What do you do, Sienna? Before I could answer, Richard jumped in. She's some kind of secretary. Been at the same dead-end job for years now. Office assistant, Diana corrected with fake kindness. Though I'm sure the boss barely notices you're there. Ryan chuckled. Remember when she thought she'd be a lawyer? Dad, tell Vanessa about that time she almost failed her LSATs. I didn't almost fail. Your brother just closed his biggest account this month. Richard cut me off. Going to bring in 6 figures for his firm. Actually, it's 7 figures, Dad. Ryan puffed up. The Henderson deal is worth $1.2 million. Small potatoes, I muttered. What was that? Diana asked sharply. Nothing. Congratulations, Ryan. You know, Sienna, Diana leaned forward. Vanessa might be able to help you find a better job at the hospital. Even the cafeteria pays better than whatever you're making now. I'm doing fine, thanks. Fine. You're 32 and living in that tiny apartment. No boyfriend, no prospects, no savings, I'd bet. Diana shook her head. I worry about how you'll support yourself when you're older. Sienna's never been one for planning ahead. Richard raised his glass. Let me make a toast. To Ryan and his success, and to Vanessa for seeing his potential. He turned to me with a smirk. Tell us, Sienna, how does it feel being useless? The room went silent. Even Ryan looked uncomfortable. That's really inappropriate, Vanessa said quietly. I smiled and reached for my portfolio. Actually, Dad, I've been meaning to share some news. I pulled out the first document and slid it across the table. I've been offered a full partnership at Blackwell and Hayes. I'm not a secretary, I'm a corporate attorney, and I've been one for 8 years. Diana scoffed. This is another one of your fantasies. Really? Call the firm. Ask for Senior Associate Sienna Williams. This could be faked. Richard pushed the paper away. Then perhaps these will convince you. I started pulling out more documents. Let me show you something interesting about your mortgage. I laid out the mortgage statements on the table. For the past 2 years, someone has been making your monthly payments of $3,200. That someone is me. Richard's face turned pale. What are you talking about? I make those payments myself. No, Dad. Your business has been failing for 3 years now. You've been lying to everyone. I pulled out more documents. These are the bank records showing transfers from my account to yours, and then to the mortgage company. Diana grabbed the papers. This is impossible. Richard, tell her she's wrong. How did you get these? Richard whispered, his hands shaking. I'm a lawyer, Dad. Finding public records is literally my job. Ryan leaned forward, examining the documents. Wait, is this true? The business is failing? Not just failing, nearly bankrupt. I passed him another folder. Dad took out 3 loans last year just to keep it afloat. You had no right to dig into my personal affairs? Richard slammed his fist on the table. Oh, but you had the right to call me useless my entire life? I pulled out another document. Remember that vacation house in Cape Cod you've been bragging about to all your friends? The one you supposedly bought last summer? Diana shifted uncomfortably. What about it? I bought it. It's in my name. I let you use it because I thought maybe, just maybe, you'd finally be proud of something I did. Ryan stood up suddenly. All those times you guys made me feel superior to Sienna, it was all a lie? They needed someone to succeed, Ryan. You were the easiest target. I turned to my brother. They've been pitting us against each other our whole lives. We gave you everything, Diana shrieked. We pushed you because you needed it. You were always so sensitive, so weak. Actually, Vanessa interrupted, Sienna is known for being one of the toughest attorneys in Boston. Everyone turned to look at her. Vanessa? Ryan looked confused. I don't just work at Boston General. I'm their legal counsel for medical malpractice. Sienna and I have worked opposite each other on 2 cases. Vanessa smiled at me. I've admired your work for years. When Ryan mentioned his sister Sienna, I never connected it was you. You knew? Ryan asked. Not until I walked in tonight. I recognized her immediately. Diana stood up, her face contorted with anger. This is all a setup. You're trying to humiliate us. No, Mom. You've done that yourselves. We only wanted what was best for you. Diana was nearly screaming now. Just like we did with your sister. The room went silent. What sister? Ryan asked. Diana covered her mouth, eyes wide. Mom, what sister? I demanded. Your mother misspoke, Richard said quickly. No, she didn't. I looked between them. What aren't you telling us? Diana collapsed back into her chair. Your father had a daughter from a previous relationship? We made sure she stayed away. Richard pointed his finger at me. That's enough. I'll sue you for defamation if you spread any of this outside this room. I couldn't help but laugh. Dad, do you have any idea who you're threatening? I specialize in defamation law. Go ahead and try. The doorbell rang, cutting through the tension. Perfect timing, I said, walking to the door. I invited someone to join us for dessert. I opened the door to find Judge Collins standing there, elegant as always in her tailored suit. Am I too late for the fireworks? She asked with a knowing smile. Not at all, Your Honor. We're just getting to the good part. Richard and Diana froze when they saw who had entered their dining room. Judge Eleanor Collins, I announced, my mentor and the person who wrote my recommendation for partnership. Sienna is one of the finest attorneys I've ever had the pleasure of working with, Judge Collins said, accepting the seat I offered her. When she clerked for me, I knew she was destined for greatness. Richard tried to regain his composure. Your Honor, I'm afraid my daughter has been making some wild accusations. Save it, Richard. Judge Collins cut him off. I've heard all about your family dynamics from Sienna over the years. I'm here tonight as a witness to her character. Should that ever be called into question? Ryan had been quiet, staring at the documents spread across the table. He finally looked up at me. I'm sorry, Sienna. All these years I believed them. I treated you like shit because they convinced me you were a failure. You were manipulated, Ryan. We both were, just in different ways. Vanessa put her hand on Ryan's arm. I knew something felt off about the way your parents talked about your sister, but I never imagined it was this bad. Diana suddenly stood up, attempting to salvage the situation. This is all a misunderstanding. We've always been proud of Sienna. We just what, Mom? Told me I was worthless for 30 years? Called me useless to my face tonight? I gathered my documents. I'm done. I'm cutting you both out of my life, effective immediately. You can't do that, Diana cried. We're your parents. Watch me. I turned to Ryan. You and I have a lot to figure out, but I'd like to try having a real relationship if you're willing. I'd like that, Ryan nodded. What about us? Richard asked, his voice suddenly small. What about you? Your business partners already know about your financial situation. I made sure of that last week. The Hendersons have pulled their accounts from your firm. I smiled as his face fell. The country club board also received an anonymous tip about how you've been skimming from the renovation fund. You vindictive little... Careful, Richard, Judge Collins warned. Remember who's in the room? Sienna, please. Diana grabbed my arm. We're sorry, we didn't mean all those things we said. We can start over. I gently removed her hand. It's too late for apologies. 30 years too late. 2 weeks later, I hosted a dinner party in my penthouse apartment. Mia was mixing cocktails while Judge Collins told embarrassing stories about my early courtroom days. Ryan and Vanessa laughed from the couch. To Sienna, the new partner at Blackwell and Hayes. Mia raised her glass. And to new beginnings, Ryan added. I looked around at my real family, the people who supported me, believed in me, and loved me for who I actually was. From the useless daughter to the most successful person in the family. Judge Collins winked at me. How does that feel? It feels like justice, I said, raising my glass. And justice tastes pretty damn sweet. Would you have exposed your toxic parents publicly like Sienna did? Or kept your success private and just walked away? Is public revenge against family who belittled you for years justice or just creating more trauma? If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more compelling stories about standing up to toxic people. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective on how you would have handled Sienna's situation.